a full-scale war does not break out, but it certainly appears that that's where we are at this point of time. I wanted to quickly compare for you with the usual disclaimer that such comparisons do not paint the true picture of of how the two countries can compare, because there is no comparison between Ukraine and Russia, which is the reason why Ukraine is looking for more help from NATO and other countries. Look at the number of troops between the two countries. Look at the number of aircraft between the two countries. Fighter aircraft. Russia has over 1,500. Ukraine has only 67. Let's come now to attack helicopters. Russia has over 500. Ukraine has just about 34 helicopters. When it comes to battle tanks, main battle tanks, huge numbers on both sides. Russia has over 13,000. Ukraine has, just under 2,500, tanks, armored vehicles, infantry personnel carriers. Again, look at those numbers. There's absolutely no comparison, but the numbers on the Ukrainian side are certainly not insubstantial. When it comes to warships, let's go from armored vehicles now to warships. Towed artillery first. You've got Russia has about double the number that Ukraine has, at least in the area at this point of time. So we're talking about numbers that are committed to this conflict at this point of time. Warships, again, no comparison. Ukraine has a very small navy, especially in the Crimean area. Russia has 214 warships of many different kinds, and these can also be put into a conflict if necessary, especially if it becomes an expanded conflict which involves NATO and many other countries at this point of time. Okay, let's go back to our reporters now. Let's go back to our reporters. Let's bring all our reporters back on our screens right now to give us a sense. Pictures that are coming in right now. Let me quickly first describe these pictures for you of the strikes, the blasts, and the kinetic action that has broken out in different parts of Ukraine at this time. These are pictures, 6 images that India Today has captured, bringing you the latest imagery of where things are at. General B.S. Jaswal, I apologize that I had to interrupt you, sir. We were getting a live guest from Ukraine. Continue with what you were saying about the aircraft, claims of aircraft being shot down on both sides, sir.
You see, when the aircrafts, if at all, they had gone into this area, any entity of the armed forces, they cater for contingency situations. They would have catered for, should these aircrafts be shot down, what our response will be. And the response in such a case, especially with Russia, which has got overwhelming aircrafts, they would have responded in no time. And by now, all the airfields and the AD system, like what was done in Iraq by US, their signatures through some flights and thereafter the strike through the missile would have taken place for suppression of all these AD resources. I want to bring in a very important issue, Kyiv. Kyiv happens to be just about 90 miles from the Belarus border. Why hasn't Russia opened up in that area by now to create a decision dilemma? What should Ukraine defend, Kyiv or Donbass? It is easier. They've already got about 30,000 troops enmassed over there, besides the Belarus army. They would have moved towards Kyiv, and the air would have been shaping the whole battlefield. That has not taken place as yet. So I do not know. I put a bit of a question mark. Why is the response so slow if this is what has happened? So has it really happened? This is what my extrapolation is. Because by now the tanks would have rolled into Donbass area. They would have rolled across into Ukraine. Because this is an act of war, of course it is an act of war of air transgression. But shooting them down when they are not in an attack mode, that is initiation of war.
Geeta Mohan continues to be with me. Geeta, what's the, obviously everyone's got their eyes on what's happening right now. It's become kinetic. Shells are flying, aircraft are flying, aircraft have, claimed to be shot down. What's the word on the External Affairs Ministry grapevine? What's going on? What's the buzz?
Well, a few things over here, a few updates first, Shiv. One, the Indian Embassy in Ukraine has put out a fresh advisory given the situation, the first statement coming in that the situation is rather tense and that all students and Indian nationals should register themselves, inform the embassy, but stay put in their homes. A lot of them from various parts of of Ukraine are trying to come to Kyiv, but the embassy says stay where you are. Stay in safe places, and the embassy has opened up a 24/7 helpline. This is an emergency contact line by the Ministry of External Affairs here in the headquarters in New Delhi. Meanwhile, I'm here outside the Ukrainian embassy in New Delhi at around 2 p.m. Ambassador Igor Polika, the Ukrainian envoy to India, Shiv, is going to hold a press conference, and we will hear from the Ukrainian side here on Indian soil as to what is the conversation that is taking place between New Delhi and Kyiv, between his embassy over here and the Ministry of External Affairs. Having said that, there are a few family members of students who are in Ukraine who turned up outside the embassy. They're not here anymore, but my colleague Himanshu spoke to a few a while ago. One of them, a resident of Ukraine, a long-time resident of Ukraine, a little worried because his wife and child are still in Ukraine. So he came here with an appointment, therefore he was allowed in to meet with the embassy officials. A lot of them turning up without appointments, worried about their brother, their sister, their child, but they've not been allowed inside because they have not come with appointments. But yes, there are advisories that are being put out. They are being asked to stay in touch with the concerned agency, which is the Ministry of External Affairs. But Shiv, you cannot take away from the fact that families would be panicked if they have members and their loved ones in Ukraine right now, given the tense situation between Russia and Ukraine. And that's the reason why some of them certainly are turning up here outside the Ukrainian embassy. But we'll hear from the envoy himself, from Ambassador Igor Polika, in just a while from now.
We've got more breaking news coming in. Stay with me, Geeta. Incredible breaking news coming in. Now, some of you may know that Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan happens to be in Moscow at this point of time. Here's what he's just said there. Geeta, stay with me. Look at this breaking news. What a time I have come at. So much excitement. Imagine Imran Khan, a leader of a country, making a statement like this in Moscow at this time. Unbelievable. What a time I have come at. So much excitement. Geeta, Imran Khan, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm never speechless, and I'm speechless. He says, so much excitement at this time that I've come in. Let's listen into him, then I'll bring Geeta in.
What a time I've come. So much excitement.
Absolutely. This is the right time to come. Prime Minister, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but let me tell you, we're so excited coming to Moscow.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good time.
A serious defense officer.
Let's just play it again. Let's just play it out for you once again. Here's what Imran Khan, Prime Minister of the Republic of Pakistan, has just said. Unbelievable. What inappropriate, what a pathetic and shameful statement by Imran Khan, who finds it exciting now that war has been declared and is taking place between Russia and Ukraine. Imran Khan of Pakistan finds it exciting. Take a look.
What a time I've come. So much excitement.
Absolutely. This is the right time to come. Prime Minister, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but let me tell you, we're so excited coming to Moscow.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good time.
What a time I've come. So much excitement.
Absolutely. This is the right time to come. Prime Minister, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but let me tell you, we're so excited coming to Moscow.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good time.
Geeta, what are you making of this? I mean, it's Imran Khan who finds it exciting that war is on between Russia and Ukraine.
Well, the man is certainly jinxed. You know, when the situation was tense, the headquarters, the Prime Minister's office should have gotten into a huddle to see whether if they should continue with their plans to visit Moscow or not. It seems like Prime Minister Imran Khan was more busy in making history of sorts, Shiv, over here, and landing in Moscow after 23 years for a Pakistani premier to have gone to Moscow, then looking and reading the situation. After that, once you've decided on going, after that you land in Moscow and you talk about how excited you are in being on Russian soil at a time when there are tensions. And just before, it's not like his plane does not have satellite communication, Shiv. Just before the Russian president coming out and announcing invasion of Ukraine or the action, military action against Ukraine. So it just seems like Imran Khan is not just out of sorts, but certainly does not understand the geopolitics of what's at play over here. He will be asked, Pakistan will be asked what their position really is. He's sitting in Moscow right now, bilateral meetings. I do not know whether they're on time or not, given that Putin's schedule will be jam-packed. So we do not know whether if he will be getting an audience with President Putin in time or not. But the fact of the matter is that the reading completely lost by Pakistani Prime Minister. And look at the statement, look at the smile, look at how he landed in Moscow. It just seems like something is absolutely amiss. Need to know whether if headquarters, particularly Rawalpindi, Shiv, whether if Rawalpindi is happy with what Prime Minister and how Prime Minister Imran Khan is conducting himself.
Geeta, I mean, it's incredible. It's jinxed, but what a shameless individual. And General Jaswal, you're a soldier. I can only imagine how you must be feeling, sir. You've been in conflict. You've been in wars. You've seen shells land near you. I can only imagine what you must be feeling when you hear Imran Khan at this point of time, sir. There's that old saying, those who glorify war are those who never need to fight. Clearly, Imran Khan is a personification of that. He finds this war exciting.
I'll use only one line for him. Hum nahi sudhrenge. I mean, they have yet to mature up as a nation and matters geostrategic. And this is clearly a display of the level of maturity of the nation in terms of the representation in Russia by the Prime Minister and the demeanor which is displayed. I think I'll leave it at that. Hum nahi sudhrenge.
It's truly, it's just sad. But, like I said, I wanted to draw our viewers' attention to this story, but I don't want to dwell on nobodies. Imran Khan has once again affirmed his total global shamelessness by, going there like a juvenile and saying, "Oh, I'm so excited that the war has begun." I mean, just disgusting. What a disgusting nation. What a disgusting leader. Let me leave it at that. Let's remove Pakistan from our screens right now. I don't want Imran Khan on our screens. Now, let's get back to Ukraine, where the real story is. Amidst this escalating tension between Russia and Ukraine, another special flight from Ukraine has landed at the Delhi airport today. The bulk of passengers who have touched down in the national capital are students studying medicine in Ukraine, Indian students. Families of the students crowded around the arrival gates well in advance, waiting for their returning loved ones. They breathed a sigh of relief after the flight landed at the airport. Imagine, they've landed just hours before shots have begun to be fired. Aircraft have begun to be shot down as being claimed. The students arrived in Delhi following an advisory issued by the Indian embassy in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv, urging Indian students to temporarily leave the country amidst rising tensions. Earlier yesterday, a special Air India flight brought back over 240 Indians from the war zone.
See what is happening.
इस वक्त हालात मतलब पहले से थोड़े ज़्यादा बिगड़ते जा रहे हैं, बट लेकिन ये है कि जो हम जहाँ पे मैं विनित्सा नेशनल मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी से हूँ, तो वहाँ पे सिचुएशन अभी इतनी अफेक्ट नहीं हुई है जितना साइडवेज जैसे बॉर्डर साइड हुई है। बट ये है कि जैसे हम कल फ्लाइट में आ रहे थे तो हमें न्यूज़ सुनने में मिला कि वहाँ पे इमरजेंसी सिचुएशन वो कर दी गई है।
कंडीशन एज सच मेरे एरिया में तो सही है, मार्केट्स ओपन है, सब कुछ मिल रहा है हमें। वी डोंट नो अबाउट द रेस्ट, बट बाकी हमारे साइड पे काम था। एज फॉर द सिचुएशन, क्योंकि हमें एम्बेसी की तरफ से नोटिस आया था, तो इसलिए हम ट्राई करें कि जल्दी से वापस आ जाए।
We also spoke exclusively to an Indian student, Shiv Karthik, who's stranded at the Kyiv railway station, about his ordeal and the plight of Indians residing in Ukraine. Listen in to what he just told us.
Shiv, the moment the news broke of the invasion by Russia into Ukraine, is that when you decided to pack up your bags?
Yes, exactly.
And since then, did you try to reach out to someone in India? Did your family also try to reach out to someone?
Yes, we were trying to just talk and sort it out to make me reach as fast as possible.
Okay, and there's been no communication?
I mean, the flights were operational. Just right now in the morning, we just heard the bad news and the airbase had to shut off. So we can't predict anything.
So in your discussion with all the others, your friends and classmates who are there as well, what are you planning to do next? Are you planning to just stay and hold on till you get some intimation from the authorities?
No, we just plan to go back to our cities here in Ukraine.
Okay. Where were you based, Shiv? And tell us what's been playing out for the last few weeks where you were.
It was absolutely normal here in Ukraine right now. But since today morning, we've been hearing some reports of Russian invasion and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the airbase has been shut off.
And what about your college? Have they been able to, and your university, have they given any communication to you about what you should do next?
Unfortunately not. They're just going on as usual.
Okay, so classes are going on as usual.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shiv, at this point, what is the kind of help you hope you will receive from the government?
All we need is to arrange the Air India flights so that we reach our home safely.
Images of some of the attacks that are coming in courtesy Al Jazeera of the Russian attacks in Ukraine. These are exclusive images that we're bringing to you via Al Jazeera of the attacks that the Ukrainian government claims are happening at this point of time. Huge plumes of smoke in different parts of Ukraine, captured by long-distance cameras that suggest that the war is definitely on. There are several such pictures in different parts of the country indicating that strikes are on. Whether these are air power strikes or long-range missile strikes is not known at this point of time, but the sense of panic is increasing by the minute on what's happening in Ukraine right now. Huge plume of smoke, huge fireball there of what appears to be either a missile attack or an airstrike in this particular part of Ukraine where these attacks have taken place. Al Jazeera bringing these pictures in, and here you've got moving pictures of what appears to be a missile or an airstrike in some part of Ukraine. Remember, the Ukrainian government has said many of its cities are already under attack. The Russian government, Russian President Putin has said that this is a demilitarization operation that is taking place. Geeta, dramatic, unsettling pictures of this conflict now streaming in from global agencies. Our people on the ground sending us similar images as well. But this is clearly war that's broken out now.